Ladies and gentlemen, the NBA regular season is finally over. The play-in games start on Wednesday, April 16th. But before we get into the playoffs, we have to hit one major category. This is the Cloud2k award show. So again, now that the regular season's over, before we get into the playoff talk on my channel, I'm going to do all my awards. And again, I'm going to give my awards also on Thursday for Time Out with J&G, but that's going to be me and Levi, so go check that out. I'm probably going to give more in-depth analysis on the podcast, but I just want to get on here, give my picks, give a little bit of reasoning why, and we can move on with our day. And again, if you want to hear a more fleshed out version of what I'm saying, it'll be on the podcast on Thursday. But we're going to start with, I think we're going to start like lowest up to high, so if you want to see the MVP talk, you got to stick around. Or you can just skip to the end of the video. That's okay. I'm not going to stop you. Do whatever you want. But while you're skipping to the video, while you're watching, go ahead and hit that subscribe button, man. We're on the road to 1,000 subscribers, and I cannot do that without any of you. Please. Like, recently I've had multiple videos over 1,000 views. Like, it's been really good. So I appreciate all the support I've been getting from each and every one of you. But yeah, again, we're going to start on the lower end. We're just going to go ahead and start with Coach of the Year. My vote is Kenny Atkinson. I mean,
Hey, yo, I was editing a video and realized, like, kept calling JB Bickerstaff Kenny Atkinson, so sorry about that, and shout out JB Bickerstaff.
Really, like, I guess people do have you could vote for other people. I have no problem with that, but Kenny Atkinson taking this Pistons team from being one of the worst teams in the entire league last year, again losing 28 straight games like I mentioned before, to now being the 6th seed in the Eastern Conference playoffs, 44-38, taking on the New York Knicks in the first round. I mean, I don't really know how you can give it to anybody else. Just the major turnaround. Again, it's been a lot of jumps from players, and I have another player on the Pistons team that's winning another award later. It might not be who you think it is. Just hold your horses. But I mean, the way this team has really just turned around, and for most of my basketball watching life, the Pistons have been pretty bad. Like, I started watching like late 2000s. Obviously, they had a couple years with Drummond, where they were pretty good. They had the 1 year Blake Griffin, but the Pistons really have never been a great team in my basketball watching life. So, I mean, this team has a superstar, I'm saying it, a superstar level point guard in Cade Cunningham. They have all the surrounding pieces there. They're going to have I mean, not a top pick this year, obviously, but like, they got that set from a lot of people. Jaden Ivey's going to be back next season, and I can't say enough about Kenny Atkinson, the way he's came in and really helped change the entire culture in Detroit. He's really got guys that have bought into the culture, and that's really the biggest thing, is buying into your team's culture. Next is an award that's still pretty new. It's Clutch Player of the Year, and this one, really, you have to just go off of stats. I mean, obviously watching the games does make an impact when it gets down to the crunch time, who is making the big time plays, who's making the big time shots, but a lot of this does rely on stats, and I'm going with Jalen Brunson. Now, again, this is a little bit outdated from a couple weeks ago, but he was averaging 5.5 points on 50.6 field goal percentage in clutch, which is the most since Russell Westbrook averaged 6.2 points per game in the clutch during his MVP season. I mean, listen, the Knicks have struggled all season against Boston, against OKC, against Cleveland. They literally have not beat them. They did not beat them the entire season. But pretty much everybody else, they are dominant. They are a very good team. It just, unfortunately, it looks like they're not going to be able to take down the Celtics or the Cavs, which is what they were kind of put together with the Mikal Bridges trade, with the Karl-Anthony Towns trade before the season. But again, Jalen Brunson is a superstar point guard, one of the best, if not the best point guard in the Eastern Conference. He currently has more clutch assists and less clutch turnovers than Nikola Jokic, who we look at as one of the best passing bigs of all time, one of the best passers of all times. The Knicks, listen, if they go against one of them top 3 teams, they're probably not going to win. But if the game comes down to the wire, Jalen Brunson is a guy you can rely on game in and game out. Next is the most improved player. And I mentioned before, I had the Detroit Pistons later in this award show. This is not it. I am not giving the award to Cade Cunningham. I know he was a good part of the season, the betting favorite. But I am part of that group that doesn't really think that former top picks that have always been good but just take more of a jump, I don't think they fully deserve that award. Again, I know there's something to say between taking a jump between like a good player versus like a star player. I understand there's a jump there, and if you think that and you think he should be MIP, I'm not going to argue with you. I don't have really an argument against you. I just like to give my votes more to the people that are like role players to kind of jump up, or people that are like kind of getting minutes. Now, boom, we're now a full-time rotation player. You get what I'm saying? Either way, my pick is Dyson Daniels. Dyson Daniels was a part of the DeJounte Murray trade, kind of like a throw-in piece of the DeJounte Murray trade. Obviously, that sent DeJounte Murray to the Pelicans and Dyson Daniels from the Pelicans to the Atlanta Hawks. And we all knew that in New Orleans, Dyson Daniels was a guy that, like, had the makings of a long, lanky defender. His offense hadn't really came around yet, but he just wasn't able to find minutes on that Pelicans team. And then with this Hawks team that desperately needed perimeter help, he found minutes early, especially with Bogdan Bogdanovic not being good to start the season. He found a lot of minutes early. And we'll look at his stats. 2023-2024, when he was with New Orleans, 5.8 points, about 4 rebounds, about a little bit less than 3 assists, 1.4 steals, and 0.4 blocks. Now, this year, with the Atlanta Hawks, 14.1 points. That is about an 8-point bump. About 6 rebounds, so about, a 2-rebound jump. 4.4 assists, so about a 1.5 assist jump. 3 steals, in which he leads the entire NBA in. That's 1.5 more steal. Again, like I said, leads the entire NBA. And then 0.7 blocks, about a 0.3 increase. But again, he is more of a perimeter defender than he is an inside defender. And again, a part of that is he went from averaging 22 minutes a game to 33 minutes a game, almost 34 minutes a game. Yes, you always have to look at, is it the player got better or did he just get more minutes? I think it's in Dyson Daniels' case, I think it's a bit of both. I think he got more minutes because he got better, if that makes sense. I don't think if Dyson Daniels was shooting as poorly as he was last season, not being as quite as the developed defender as he was last season with the Pelicans, I don't think he then earns the minutes that he has with now the Hawks this season. Again, and he's shooting about 49, a little bit over 49 from the floor, and he was at less than 45% last year. This year, shooting 34% from 3 on 3 attempts a game, a little bit below league average, but last season was 31% on 2 attempts a game. So, again, his offense hasn't taken a huge jump that his defense side of the ball does, but playing next to Trae Young, he's going to get himself set up so much easier for open shots. I'm going with the guy Dyson Daniels, a guy that should be an all-defensive team. He may be a little bit buzzed for Depoy. He's not going to win Depoy, but we got to show some respect there. My 6th player of the year, this is where the Detroit Pistons comes back. It is Malik Beasley. I know it's going to sound kind of crazy. Ty Jerome's had a phenomenal season. He doesn't quite average enough points to be qualified. You have to average 20 minutes a game. He's at 19.8, 19. He is so close, but does not quite average enough minutes to be eligible for 6th player of the year, which is what it is. But then also DeAndre Hunter, who had a really, really hot start to the season, did kind of falter a little bit. Still really good, but did falter enough that I think I'm dropping him out of my winner. It was between Malik Beasley, it was between Peyton Pritchard. Now, the reason why Malik Beasley is, I think, one, he's been a really, really instrumental part of this Detroit Pistons having a turnaround season, and I just think he's been a little bit more consistent. Peyton Pritchard's very, very hot or cold. When he's hot, man, he is blazing, but there's also times he just gets DMPs because they don't really need him. And again, part of that's because these Celtics are obviously a much better team than the Pistons, but I just value the position that Malik Beasley has with the Pistons a little bit higher than I value Peyton Pritchard with the Celtics. He's having a season which he's averaging 16.5 points, 2.5 rebounds, almost 2 assists a game, shooting 41.5% from 3, and that was on a lot of attempts, if I remember correctly. That is on about, where is that at? That's on about 9.3 attempts a game, which is his career high. So he is shooting basically career high on also the highest amount of attempts in his entire career. He also played all 82 games this season. I think that is worth some value. Also, he had the most threes in the NBA, and then recently Anthony Edwards just broke it, I think last game of the season or something like that, but still for the most part of the season led the entire NBA in 3-pointers made. Malik Beasley has completely also embodied the culture in Detroit, and I'm hoping he sticks around for a long time. Rookie of the year, I'm giving my vote to Stephon Castle. This probably is a pretty easy one. Again, a draft class that wasn't insanely crazy in like amounts of star talent, but we've seen a lot of really, really good players come out of this draft class. Zachary Rijacier, the first overall pick, had a bit of a slower start, but has really, really turned it on recently. Same with Alex Sarge, really, really turned it on recently. Jared McCain was phenomenal coming out of the gate, and then obviously he got hurt, was out for the season. Like, it's just been a lot. Like, Donovan Clingan's had his moments, Kyle Filipowski's had his moments. There's so many players that if I keep naming, I'm going to obviously forget people's names, and I don't want to do that. I don't want to disrespect that way. But there's been so many good, impactful rookies. Stephon Castle, I think, has just been the best. Now, if you look at his shooting percentage, about 43% from the floor and 28% from 3. It doesn't look great, but he's a guy that he can attack the basket. He pulls a lot of people in. He has the gravity to attack the basket. His playmaking, again, for a rookie, you have to take it. You know, especially when you play with Chris Paul, he's going to handle the ball a lot. They bring in De'Aaron Fox for about a month or so before he goes out with an injury. So I think in the limited amount of minutes he had, I think he really, really flourished. Again, the jump shot has not come around yet, but he's a rookie. He's obviously a very, very good defender. We know that just what he is. About 14.7 points per game, about 4 rebounds. I round up from 3.7 to 4, and then 4 assists, almost a full steal a game. And he played about 27 minutes a game. He played in 81 games this season, so he was available for his team. He fit in wherever he needed. When Vic was healthy, when De'Aaron Fox was healthy, Chris Paul played the entire season. He was able to fit in the role. He was playing multiple positions out on the wing as well. Like, he just can do a lot for this team, and I project once this jump shot comes around, it's going to be nasty between De'Aaron Fox, Devin Vassell, hopefully, Stephon Castle, and Victor Wembanyama for years to come. Defensive Player of the Year, I know Draymond Green has been doing his media tour, and you know what? Truthfully, Draymond Green is a phenomenal defender. He's been that his whole career, and Draymond Green has a huge, huge case for Defensive Player of the Year. But I'm sticking with my gut. I'm sticking with the guy that it's been. Victor Wembanyama was running away with it. We know that he was running away with it. There was no other way it was going to anybody else. And then he goes out with his blood clots, so he does not qualify. Once that happened, we're like, oh shoot, it's Jaren Jackson Jr., it's Evan Mobley, it's Draymond Green. And then all of a sudden, Jaren Jackson Jr.'s defense kind of fell down with the rest of the defense of the Memphis Grizzlies. And like, okay, it's Evan Mobley, right? And Draymond Green's kind of the backup. But then all of a sudden, Draymond Green goes on his media tour, and the odds flip in his favor. I'm going Evan Mobley. Now, the Cavs have had a top 10 defense pretty much the entire year, so have the Warriors. But I think Evan Mobley has been a complete dominant force the entire season, which is something I cannot say about Draymond Green, because part of it is that he missed like a good amount of time in January, so that hurt his eyes. It wasn't really on him. But the defense of the Warriors has been kind of up and down all season, where the Cavs have been a consistent top 10 defense. I mean, if you want to look at his stats, because raw stats obviously have some impact, but I think also a lot of Depoy is kind of watching the games and seeing how they impact the defensive side of the ball. But for the season, he's averaging, again, 18.5 points, but about a steal a game, 1.5 blocks a game. And again, that doesn't really jump out. Also, 9 rebounds a game, because that kind of goes into it as well. The stats don't incredibly jump out. Same with Draymond Green. It's like those stats are like, holy cow, when guys like Vic are averaging over 3 blocks a game. But again, you watch him, he runs the defense. The defense in Cleveland runs through Evan Mobley. He's pointing people this way, that way. He's kind of the quarterback on defense. He can be out on the perimeter and hold his own against these faster guards. He can drop back into the paint if Jared Allen's not on the court. He just does everything you need on the defensive side of the ball. He's a very, very smart defender. Is he on the level of Draymond Green, IQ-wise? Not yet, but the guy's 23 years old. Like, give him time. I think Evan Mobley's going to be up there with one of the best defenders of all time by the time his career is finished. Last, and certainly not least, the one we've all been waiting for. Is it Jokic? Is it Shea? Who is our 2025 MVP? And listen, Giannis deserves some love too. I don't want to get past here without saying Giannis deserves a lot of love. Jason Tatum's been really, really good. But is it Jokic or is it Shea? Put down in the comments below before I say mine. Who do you think the MVP is? Jokic, Shea? You can give your reasons why. You could just say Jokic, Shea. It's up to you. My 2025 NBA MVP is Shea Gilgeous-Alexander. And I know a lot of Jokic fans just got really upset and probably clicked off the video or writing a mean comment right now, and that's okay. Because what I'm going to say is, this is a season where if Shea gets the MVP, it is completely deserved, and Jokic had a hell of a non-MVP season. If Jokic wins MVP, it's hella deserved, and Shea had a hell of a non-MVP season. There's really no wrong answer in my eyes with this MVP case. This is one of them MVP cases where it's like, listen, whoever gets it, hell yeah. Whoever doesn't get it, that really sucks. You had a hell of a season. Shea's averaging 32.7. It's about 33 points per game, 5 rebounds, 6.5 assists, almost 2 steals a game, and a block a game. He's also shooting 52% from the floor on 21.8 field goals a game. He's taking the most shots in the NBA. He's also shooting 37.5% on almost 6 attempts from 3 a game. This is a guy that is a complete dominant offensive force. One of the greatest scoring pieces we've seen in a long time. You have the James Harden, because we all know the 2010s, the late 2010 James Harden was like averaging 30 to 40 points. The guy was insane. But this is a guy in Shea Gilgeous-Alexander who has the entire offense on his back. You look at that OKC team, you're like, that's a really, really good team. They are by far like a 15-game lead over the Rockets to being the number 1 seed. This is part of this is best player on best team. Now, again, the thing about the MVP criteria is that it kind of shifts every year depending on the narratives of the season. But being the best player on the best team by a wide margin in the entire NBA has to have stock in this MVP race. And again, I want to give full love to Jokic, because Jokic is also carrying the offense of that Denver Nuggets team on his back. But if you look at this OKC Thunder roster, they are comprised of a bunch of really, really good defenders, but outside of Shea and sometimes J-Dub, nobody on this team can really create offense for themselves. Again, J-Dub, they're hoping takes that step for the playoffs this year, because if they want to win a championship, they need J-Dub to step up on that side of the ball. But for a good part of the season, their offense was significantly worse when Shea was off the court, because they just don't have that true ball handler. Now, I think later in the season, they did pick it up a bit because he was sitting out a couple games towards the end of the season, just because they were already so locked up. But Shea, again, is having a peak scoring season, one of the best offensive seasons we've seen in a long, long time. And it's just going to happen. He was second in MVP voting last year to Jokic. Shea is going to get an MVP, and again, it sucks because Jokic is having like a 30-some point triple-double. He is carrying, again, that Nuggets offense, but that's a Nuggets team that is now a middle-of-the-pack defense, or middle-of-the-pack in standings in the Western Conference. They just fired their head coach. They have a lot of turmoil going on, and unfortunately, as much as you don't want to admit it, narrative plays a role in the MVP case. It plays a role in all awards, but it plays a major role in the MVP case, in the way that the OKC Thunder have been such a dominant team all season on the back of Shea's offense, who, again, is not a slouch on defense, a very, very good, a good one-on-one perimeter defender. Again, he's kind of masked by a lot of some of the best perimeter defenders in the NBA on his own team, with Lou Dort, with Alex Caruso, with like Chet being down below, Isaiah Hartenstein being down below. They have a lot of defense to help around, and yet he does get targeted a lot because they have those perimeter defenders on their team, but he holds his own much more than you can say about Jokic. And that is the one, I think, argument against. I don't really think you should argue against Shea or Jokic. I think it's like, listen, man, this is my reasons I think Shea's the MVP. This is the reason I think Jokic is the MVP. There's not really much you can say against, like, or in a negative impact. But if there is one thing, it's that Jokic's defense has never been great and has really been exposed this year. Part of that is the team construction he has. He does not really have the perimeter defenders to help him out down the paint. But again, I don't want to get on Jokic because I think Jokic is the best player in the world, but the best player in the world does not always win MVP. It's been that case for years. LeBron would have 15 MVPs. Michael Jordan would have 15 MVPs. Kobe would have more MVPs. Like, the best player in the world does not always win MVP. It is year by year basis. The criteria does shift, and it's just what it is. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Obviously, like, if you disagree, that's fine. It's all about open discussions. I enjoy hearing you guys' opinions in the comments. You know, if you want to vote for Shea, if you want to give your reasoning for Shea, you want to give your reasoning for Jokic, do that in the comment section below. Just keep it respectful, because all these guys deserve the award, and we're trying to build a positive community here, not a negative one. But again, like I said before, please subscribe. We're trying to build a great community here. I love all of you, and I'll see you guys later. Peace.